The Discombobulated Humph and his Christmas Glumph. The discombobulated humph was always in a discombobble and a humph. He was a miserable old so-and-so, and sometimes rightly so. He lived in a treehouse on the tallest tree in the whole of Discombobulford, and he looked down at the villagers as they all snored. It just turned to the first day of December, and the discombobulated humph wanted to make sure this was a day they'll always remember. As soon as the Christmas tree store was open and the trees were available to buy, he bought up all of them and built a bonfire, then burnt them all and waved goodbye. And when the fire made him too hot, he stole the snow from Discombobulford and placed it by plow on the bonfire, on the sides and on the top. He enjoyed the tears of children not having Christmas trees and places to place their presents so pleasantly. Children to him were nasty flanangers, danglers, and rarely had manners. So why do they deserve decoration hangers to put on their decoration sherbranglers? The discombobulated humph was a dumdanger, a heartless fellow, a shriveled-out dump. He was a man with a humph. On the 2nd of December, he filled every discombobulated chimney in the whole of Discombobulford with their household pets. It wasn't easy to get some of them in there. Some of the flummockers got upset. On the 3rd of December, it snowed again, so he had the humph again, until it got dark, and he dressed up like a ninja and humphed with a lark. He larked and barked and splurred and gnarled, and then set fire to items in people's yards. On the 4th day of December, he superglued every house doorsies shut, keeping them locked in their houses, then tied antlers to mouses, and posted them through the letterbox. Oh, the joy the humph got watching the discombobble jump out their house windows onto freshly placed bushes of holly and mistletoe. On the 5th day of December, he was up early and in a humph, and broke into the chocolate store and replaced all the chocolate boxes with stuff that wasn't so yum. He filled and spilt them with spanners and clammers and zammers and mandangles and discombobulated yin-yang ghouls. On the 6th day of December, he filled the ice skate rink with wet cement and sprayed it with the color of ice. Then when people got stuck, he sent in hundreds of antlers on mice. Unfortunately, they got stuck too, but it was fun for you-know-who. On the 7th day of December, he stole everyone's sleigh, then built a bonfire and said goodbye with a wave. On the 8th evening of December, he sneaked into the discombobbled houses and ate all the chocolates from their advent calendars. He was yum-malicious, and his mouth tasted delicious. On the 9th morning of December, he entered a Christmas card store and left a stink bomb on the floor with a sign saying, "December, ignore." The 10th day of December was a very important day. It was a competition to make the best snowman, but he didn't want it to be them or they. He had an idea to ruin everyone's day. So when all the snowmen were made and about to get judged, he turned up with a fire truck of fireworks and set them all alight. And as they were distracted, he set fireworks in all the snowmen and set them alight. Oh, how he loved the colors of the fireworks shining bright. He also liked the tears of children, too. It felt like a magical blue. The 11th day of December was a day that everyone has their work to do, and they go out for a meal. Yet the humph had an idea that was disgustingly ideal. He tied up the chefs and placed them in the Watsy-Wacken freezer and swapped the customers' Christmas meals for worms and turnip custard on pizza. The 12th evening of December, he put dog poo with glitter on down people's chimneys, along with a thank you note for being such an inspiration. Now they can hang this on their mantelpieces as a decoration. The discombobulated humph was a dumdanger, a heartless fellow, a shriveled-out dump. He was a man with a humph, and nobody knows why. Maybe it's because he has never cried. On December the 13th, he went to the dentist. Then he replaced the dentist's teeth with darkened gummy fists. On the 14th night of December, he entered an old lady's house and put maggots on her stairs with the idea that she'll hopefully fall down there. And then she caught him in action. So he stuffed her down the chimney with items of her war collection. He was nice enough to leave a note for the next door neighbor saying, "You might find an old goat down the next door's chimney. I think her name was Gwenda." On the 15th morning of Christmas, he was awake before anyone else. He smirked and barked and made some snow angels that had their wings cut off. He was in a humph and felt hacked off. Then he looked up and noticed that old goat getting pulled out the chimney, and he thought to himself, what had become of he, the humph? Shouldn't I be pleased with himself that he brought such a glump to this discombobulated slump? And he was delighted, but there was a moment of glum. On the 16th night of December, he took every single decoration that was in sight and stuffed them in the recycling bin and created a treasure map and left it with Tiny Dim. The 17th night of December had come around, so he unwrapped every single present from a parent to child that could be found. The 18th day of December, he sat back and enjoyed the noise as every parent had to go and buy new toys. And prior to this, he did a master tricks D and superglued every toy shop door Z. The discombobulated Humph was a dumb danger, a heartless fella, a shriveled out dump. He was a man with a humph, and nobody knows why. Maybe it's because he has never cried. On the 19th night of December, he gave the local Christmas band a frightful fright as he stuck firecrackers in their trumpets and flumpets and schlumpets and set them alight. The 20th day of December had arrived, and it was a moment for all to be pleasantly surprised, as a massive present had arrived. Wrapped in the local town square, a child opened it up happily, and a mud pie with dog poo exploded absolutely everywhere. The 21st day of December was the day of today, and the discombobulated Humph snuck into everyone's house and took their food away. The last stop was Gwenda, that woman who was an old goat, and something in him, whether it was a nerve or a sense of feeling, made him leave her a tin of baked beans that he exploded over the ceiling. The 22nd day of December, the discombobulated Humph sat back and enjoyed watching the mad scramble to the supermarket-y stores. Without dinner for Christmas, there's always a panic and a roar. Yet, whilst there was a mad scramble, he watched the old goat hobble to the store, and he felt a slight twingle in his thinker-tinker box. He felt an emotion, or was it not? No, well, he did. He just needed to blow his nose, as he had a lot of blocked snot. As the mad scramble was happening, he thought this was a time to excel, so he snuck into her house and took her cooker away as well. The discombobulated Humph was a dumb-dunger, a heartless fella, a shriveled-out dump. He was a man with a humph, and nobody knows why. Maybe it's because he has never cried. The 23rd of December was a day that brought the Humph so much sorrow. Christmas was a day after tomorrow. Discombobulated is at its busiest time, so he started the day by taking everyone's cutlery away, then their TVs, as on Christmas, a lot of people like to watch the Queen, so they'll have to buy more. This fact, the discombobulated Humph j'adore. The 24th day had arrived, and he started the day by hearing singing with Christmas cheer. It woke him up, and he was disgustingly disgusted with what he could hear. He peered out of his treehouse with a snarl and hiss. He wasn't happy with this. Why would he be? It's not like he broke every tree. So what should he do? Maybe my focus with creating torment in December should be just on a select few. The discombobulated Humph was a dumdunger, a heartless fellow, a shriveled-out dump. He was a man with a humph, and nobody knows why. Maybe it's because he's never cried. He spent the whole day walking back and forth, apart from breaking anything that reminded him of Christmas in December, of course. Then when it was dark and people were resting in their homes, he had a thought out loud that surely was his own. Maybe I'm sad as I'm all alone. No, surely not. I'm happy with myself, and that's what I've got. And the discombobulated Humph pondered and wondered, and then shook the feeling. Maybe I should go and cause torment to that old goat who's got beans all over her ceiling. Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll make sure she hates Christmas in December too, and the feeling. As he scuffled and cuffled and then peered through her window, he noticed something that brought him a discombobulated itch of irritation. On the 12th evening of December, he put dog poo with glitter on down her chimney with a thank you note for being such an inspiration, which said also to hang it on her mantelpiece as a decoration. And she did. She literally had nothing else, just that, hanging from a shelf. The Humph felt his thinker-tinker tremble inside. He knew what it was like to be all alone. And so is this woman too. All she had is glitter on dog poo. His stomach churned and gurned, and he felt sick, but instead it was from his eyes. What is this? And he opened his hand, and it was a drop of cry. And then there was more. He couldn't stop this feeling. Please, no more. He fell to the floor and couldn't stop shedding from his eyes. And then they stuck to the snow as pieces of ice. He laid there as one with the floor and had a thought. Maybe that woman shouldn't just have dog poo that I found on the floor. Then he had another thought, a proper thinker thought, a thought that yesterday he would never have had. Maybe there are other people that are sad. Maybe I should make that old goat and others glad. And after that, he broke the ice that stuck him to the floor. That was his aim, to take away sadness and pain, as he had enough of it all. He grabbed all the items that he stole and tried to replace the ones that he burnt. He cut down Christmas trees one by one. Then he took to his heliflapper and started flying in the darkness, as there was no sun. He landed on the discombobulated roofs one by one, trying to remember what and from whom he stole from. It was the busiest night of his life, and it's not easy to remember who had whose fork and who had whose knife. He kept his eyes open with matchsticks and drank hot chocolate from a flask, and tried to replace every item that he took and never asked, especially the brass. He even seen Santa along the way, who said, "Well done for changing your ways." And finally, when he got to the last house, the old woman who looked like a goat, he gave her back everything, and he wrote her a truly inspirational note, which said, "Christmas is the best time of year, yet I hated it at first. I took more joy out of stealing from out of your purse. Yet when I saw you alone, and with just poo on glitter, you made my eyesies cold and bitter. I knew I had to change my ways, as Christmas is about giving what you have left emotionally, and sharing, not to take it away. If it wasn't for you, I might never have known this. So I'm really sorry, and I'll end this note with a mistletoe kiss." When everyone woke up on the day of Christmas, he did something else that no one expected. Outside the bakery was the biggest discombobulated mud pie that you've ever seen. He made it for everyone, which didn't have dog poo in it. It was deliciously, discombobulationally clean.